Octagon.
Fedor Emelianenko was the Undertaker of MMA. Come on, you know exactly what I mean. Couldn't you totally picture him coming to the cage with one of those crazy-ass WrestleMania entrances? Let me cut to the chase. Fedor is the best fighter to never fight in the UFC by a wide margin. I can't even think of a close second. A smaller, lightning-fast heavyweight with huge KO power is already a big problem to deal with. Until you remember that Fedor is a grappling master. His striking, which was pretty damn good in its own right, make no mistake about it, was ironically his lesser skill set. Fedor is quite literally a grandmaster in Sambo, with count it 7 national and 4 world championships. But as if that wasn't enough, he is a black belt and a 2-time Olympic bronze medalist in judo. Legitimately one of the top grapplers on planet Earth in his day, with high-level ground and pound to go with it.
He hit me like 6 times in like a 3-second span. He landed every one of them because I didn't see none of them coming. He could throw from all directions.
Fedor's striking was different. Hands all the way down at his waist, which served 2 main purposes. First, it helped him defend against takedowns, helping him transition into things like hip tosses, which was one of his go-tos. And second, it made his punches hard to telegraph. His hand speed wasn't just fast for his size or fast for a heavyweight. He would just straight up detonate people before they even realized what hit them. Scary, scary dude.
Fedor gives no fucks.
He was a wild dude, man.
Even though he beat my ass, he's still one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah, one of mine as well. You know, when you look at the great heavyweights of all time, it's so hard to say like who's the greatest of all time, but you got to have him in the conversation.
I try not to put too much stock into promotions outside the UFC, but Fedor is maybe one of like 3 exceptions I have to that rule. Back in the day, virtually every fighter that came up through the Japanese circuit had a losing record in the US. Don't ask me why that is. I don't feel like getting into it. But through all the JMMA mess, Fedor was the one guy I feel like everyone unanimously agreed was legit.
Guys, he hit me so hard it was like a missile. I keep calling it a missile. I got hit with a missile.
I'm in the Fedor would have been UFC heavyweight champion corner of the debate for what it's worth. Guy was absolutely terrifying to fight. 0 facial expressions, ice in his veins, and just pure mastery of his craft. You know the old adage, real confidence whispers? That's about Fedor. He could be getting clowned in a presser by Chael, getting trashed by Dana in interviews, post-streak at his lowest. He meets every situation with the same level of stoicism.
Cage fights don't get him mad. Why would anything get? He never changes his expression. He's never angry. He's never like when he wins. When he wins, it's just like, yep, another day in office.
The man is hurt. I want to go have bath.
It felt like the MMA world stopped spinning for a minute when Verdum submitted him. At one point, Fedor Emelianenko was 31-1 with a ton of elite heavyweight names on his record. I mean, good God, Nog twice, Coleman twice, Randleman, Krokop, Hunt, Arlovsky, even Tim Sylvia. Side note, his one loss shouldn't have even counted at that time since elbow strikes were illegal at that event and that's what cut him, and then he'd avenged that fight a couple years later. The guy was undefeated until he was almost 34 years old. It's a travesty we never got to see prime Fedor in the UFC. Even in the twilight of his career, he was still knocking out top contenders in Bellator. And had it not been for Bader, he probably would have retired as champion at 45 or 46. And if you somehow doubt that a prime Fedor would have had success in the UFC, keep in mind this is what a 43-year-old out of his prime and nearing retirement Fedor was able to do.
Fedor strikes first. Takes speed away from people. And still, if Fedor needs to attack, it's about where he's going to attack. Big shot. And it is all over. Fedor Emelianenko knocks out Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Despite the UFC being the measuring stick for elite-level MMA, Fedor Emelianenko is a name that commands respect from fight fans past, present, and for generations to come. There will never again be a fighter that you could argue is the single greatest to ever live, despite never stepping foot in the top promotion a single time. We could have had Fedor fighting against Stipe, Kane, Jones. No, we just had him burning the final years of his career, fighting guys like Chael Sonnen, a fucking middleweight in Bellator.
I wish he would have came to the UFC though. I wish they would have
Got close. Got real close. They had some meetings. The people that were running his business, they wanted like co-promotion with the UFC. I guess the UFC was willing to give him a lot of money. They were like, no, we want co-promotion.
It's maybe the single biggest what if in MMA history for reasons that were ironically mostly out of the UFC's control. But I think that's part of what made Fedor's mystique what it was, why his name carried the reputation that it did. The UFC didn't need Fedor, but Fedor also didn't need the UFC.
The question for Fedor, I just want to clarify, do you still want to fight after tonight?
Ну, конечно, я боец.
Yes, because I'm a fighter.
Okay.